In this video, I'm going to show you how to aggressively use Lucina Bond Shield. A lot of people have this misconception about Bond Shield and Lucina, that she's defensive and that you just like sit around waiting for the enemies. But in reality, it's actually an aggressive tool, and it's what I would think of as active tanking, where you're going out looking for enemies to swarm around you for you to kill and damage, while also tanking them and repositioning, grabbing space, and so on.
Where to?
So there's two ways to do this. The first way is to move in slowly, with mobility, and then Bond Shield, attack things, move in, Bond Shield, attack things, counterattack on enemy phase. The other way is to warp in, so we're going to do that in this case. So we're going to pop Makaya, use a warp. I'm going to park my units up here. Now, you don't have to be this aggressive on this map, but I'm going to be, just for the sake of a demonstration. Okay, so
what a lovely scene.
Let's see what we can do. I'm going to attack this guy, put some damage on him. Now the non-Bond Shield units, like the ones that aren't using Bond Shield, can attack stuff. Like they actually should. They should attack as many things and kill as many things as humanly possible. So if you can secure kills with high hit rates, so in this case I should kill this, 93%. Should hit. Hopefully it does.
Here we go.
Okay, so now I get Speed Taker from that, because I'm using Lynn. Now she doesn't need that in this case, because these enemies have blades, but it's nice to have, because the more you stack, the more you can start to double and counterattack. Alright, and then we pop Bonded Shield. Now the Bonded Shield unit can get attacked, but if you have A supports with at least 2 units, your avoid gets pretty high. So their hit rate of 152 versus my avoid of 137 is basically going to persuade them not to attack this unit. And if you have 3 A supports next to this unit, it's basically unhittable. Okay, so I've done that. I might as well also do other things, because the rest of your team shouldn't just be sitting around. So I'm going to go for, ideally, a Sandstorm proc, which will kill this. And if not, I can get him next turn. Or there's Sandstorm. There's 2 Sandstorms, so I just needed 1, but I got 2. So she's just killed that guy by herself. And then everyone else can just dive in.
I'm your knight to command.
Shall we dance?
So I'm going to try to pull more enemies, start making more progress, because the rest of my team is now like really far behind. But I'm going to pull that guy. We're going to advance.
Firm. I smell gold.
Understood.
Now the upside of being in this far this early is I can start clearing out all these enemies. This is like a bulk of the enemy forces, and then I can clear these out and then kill the thieves. So if you want to go for the items, this is a way to do that. Alternatively, you could just teleport your dudes into the chest room and then fight the enemies that way. And you could always rescue them if like needed. So, alright, so here's the big tactic, right? You get them to attack you. You get some damage on them. Now there are some chain attacks here. You can always deal with those by killing the things that are standing next to you or that can chain attack. Or healing at range with Physic. As long as there's not like a ton, you'll be fine. And you can see they can't all go for the same target. And sometimes 83s miss, which is unfortunate. And then my team can start killing other enemies as they advance towards the Lucina Bond Shield. So the Lucina Bond Shield, in a lot of ways, is making space. You also want to focus things down if you can get kills. Now, if I miss this, I could always use Great Sacrifice, so that's fine. But you want to go for kills. Oh, this actually won't kill him. It's 2 health bars. So yeah, some of these enemies have 2 health bars. They kind of sneak them in. It's a little annoying, but what are you going to do? It's the game. Alright, and then we can start stabbing things. Let's check the damage. Okay, it's the same. I might as well have the Flame Lance equipped, though, because it can hit at range if something attacks her at range.
Allow me.
Hungry for more.
Alright, that was an extremely lucky crit, so I wasn't expecting him to die there. Well, actually, no, I was. My team was going to move up. Alright, then you Bond Shield again. And if you need to heal this unit, you could use Physic, you could use Great Sacrifice. This isn't enough backup spam to kill. It definitely will deal some damage. And then one thing I can do, if I want to reduce their numbers, I do want to kill this guy, and then I want to have Anna advance and get danced. So I'm going to go for the kill on this dude before I evaluate anything else. Anna's definitely getting danced, but I want to make sure I have resources to obstruct if needed. I don't think those units will one-shot Anna. I'm fairly certain they won't. I also have rescue if I need it. Alright, she can go in. Shoot some bows at this guy. So now my B team, because in most team comps you have an A and a B team, if we're being honest. If we're being real. Very rarely is your whole team going to be your A team in this game, just because of the way XP distribution works. But if you do have an entire team of A team, that's pretty sick. But your B team can deal with other things like stragglers, while your A team goes and does the hard carrying.
I'm sorry.
I'm actively feeding some of these units to level them up. They're really bad on Chapter 24 right now, which is kind of annoying. I feel like the game randomly scales the enemy stats to the point where you're almost like forced to grind in order to even deal good damage to enemies. And it's not fun. Alright, we're gonna dance. We're gonna try to thin them out a bit if we can. I can always use obstruct. That's like the idea. So let's obstruct now. Are you done obstruct? Who's obstruct? You. Okay, so you obstruct. Enemies will not attack ice if there's other targets to attack. If they can hit those targets. It's a decent level up. She needs dex for her thing. Alright, so now I can hit this. My range is a little bit further than it seems, so I can actually kill one of these. So as one team, as my S tier units, like my card carries, are distracting the enemies with Bond Shield, the rest of my team advances, and then eventually once we connect, we start killing them faster and accelerating the process. And then she should go in here. She's actually quite slow. Alright, and then I might as well Great Sacrifice for the hell of it. It's good XP, you might as well. And then another unit can heal the unit that Great Sacrificed. It's pure upside. Yeah, so she doubles on counterattack, takes 0. They're trying to ignore Alir because it's just too dodgy. 15% hit rates, they're not going to hit those. And they're basically just breaking on us. And you can tell that these enemies aren't like a joke either, like they're actually pretty reasonably strong. They're not like obviously I'm not one-rounding them. They're up to the level of my best units. And this is like the result I'm getting with an aggressive Bond Shield. So here is the position I ended up with, where most of the enemies are killed, especially on this side. All of my units are together, and I can keep delaying these in this choke point with fire and then just farm them over time. One of the questions I got was, how do I deal with when Bond Shield is done? You can just spam fire against ground units. Against flying units, you're going to want some archers to thin their numbers. You're also going to want wind tomes on your mages, so I have Elwind and Excalibur, so I have a lot of anti-air, and I have anti-ground. But from here, this enemy boss, he's stuck in place. I can just keep shooting him, and then the turn ends. But that's it for this one. You can definitely be aggressive with Lucina Bond Shield, and it can get you space, it can allow you to deal a ton of counterattack damage that you wouldn't get otherwise, so it does increase your damage output even though it's a defensive ability. And mitigation usually is great for pushing and attacking. And you can see here the power of fire. I don't know what these guys are doing. I think they're about to push me because I think the map is recognizing it's basically routed. But I can Dragon Vein here again. And these thieves don't attack, they just try to escape. We can kill this guy. I can dance her out of there. So fire plus dancing is really broken. It's really nice. So that's it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you found this useful or interesting. Feel free to post a comment as to what you think about this tactic, if you think there's better things, and if you do, I'd like to hear them. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you in